everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lauren and I actually have a story time for you guys. It is very relevant to what is going on in the world right now. So my story time is going to be about how I planned and led a peaceful protest in my town with a few of my friends, and it's also going to be about how I confronted a racist in my town. Basically just other racism I've seen since the protests in my town, which is, it's a little surprising because my town is quiet, but I'm sure just like everywhere there are closeted racists. This all started, well, first I'll say the protest was on May 30th, and we planned it in less than 24 hours, but it stemmed from what happened the day before. It's Friday, May 29th, and I'm scrolling through Twitter and I see this girl. I have screenshots of like what I saw her say and basically just the whole thing. So I don't care, I'm gonna post what she said, but I'm obviously gonna block out her name and picture because I don't want like anyone getting attacked. Like, not about people getting attacked, but I just don't want her to get any more attention from these tweets. I'm scrolling on my timeline and I see her like say, I want to get corn braids, not cornrows. I want to get corn braids, but I don't want to be called a racist. And basically I saw it, and this is, you know, after we all witnessed George Floyd die and basically be lynched on camera, and I was really at a loss for words. Oh, I forgot to say, subscribe and like this video if you haven't already. Yeah, let me go back to what I was saying. But so I see her say that tweet, and I was just like, girl. I literally commented girl ... because it was basically like, why are you worried about that right now? Why are you worried about being called a racist when we just witnessed racism firsthand on on camera? We just saw this black man be killed by police yet again, like again. So she comments back a question mark, and I'm basically like, why are you worried about that right now? Like, seriously? And she doesn't comment back. But other people from my town, I follow people from my town and like other people, but mostly people from my town, and they know who she is for the most part, and they've seen the things she has said in the past as well. But I wasn't the only one who said anything to her, and she didn't answer back though. And basically like it ended up with her deleting her account because people were just like, are you serious? Like, first of all, you're not even using the right terminology with the hairstyle, and then second of all, why are you worried about like being called a racist? Why are you? It was just very ignorant. So her boyfriend tried to come at me and was just like, why are you so worried about her wearing a hairstyle? You girls, like, I don't really remember what he said. It was a bunch of nothing. And I basically like was just like, it's not about the hairstyle at this point. It's about like where her mind is at, and like, just why would you say that? After that, like when everyone is just seeing what was said, they were just posted her tweets from the past, and I even looked up and saw that she has said the N-word in the past. This girl is Caucasian and she has used the N-word in the past, and not the past couple years, like recent, and even 3 years ago she's used the N-word both ways. So she is a racist, she uses racial slurs, and it's just not okay. I was like taken aback. And also there was another post of her referring to black girls as Shaniqua. Just very ignorant. So one of the girls that has confronted her in the past started a group chat with me and the girls who ended up planning the protest, And we were basically just like, did y'all see what she really? Did y'all see what she said? We ended up talking about it. We saw that she had posted an apology after she deleted her account on Twitter. She posted an apology on Facebook, but it's just like, she's been confronted before years ago. She's never stopped making ignorant comments, so it's just like the apologies are basically at this point so people's reputations don't get ruined. I don't fall for it, and yeah, but I am not gonna give that situation any more attention. It's just the fact that this is where like this happened, and we ended up starting the group chat that led to us planning the protest. This wasn't Friday, actually, I'm sorry, this was Thursday, the 28th. So the next day happened, and I wake up and I see a tweet, and it was from our president, and it was the "when the looting starts, the shooting starts" comment. And I was so taken aback, because it's just like, you're our president and you want to kill people that are exercising their right to protest? Seriously? And calling protesters thugs? But I'm not gonna make this video political, like, but that comment hurt. It caused so much anger inside of me. The idea came into my head, and I was just like, what if I did a protest? Like, there wasn't really like any being planned in our state, and I basically was just like, I honestly feel like I was like called on God to plan a protest, because I just feel like the idea was just placed in my heart and in my head, and it would not leave my head, because I googled it, like how to plan a protest, and I was like, this is a lot of work, like, but it honestly, like, it's not as hard as I thought it would be. Also, sorry if you hear my fan in the background, it is so hot. I felt like I was being called by God to do it, and the idea wouldn't leave my head, and it just was weighing heavy. Like, everything that was going on was just weighing so heavy on my heart, and I just felt like enough is enough. Like, I want to do something about it. I want to, you know, whatever. So I brought the idea up in the group chat, and they were like, yes, let's do it. Like, I'm all for it. Let's like just go for it. And we were gonna like have a week to plan it, and it would actually be I'm losing track of days, but it would have been, I believe, this weekend. But people have to work, people are going back to work since the like state is starting to open back up. We basically had to decide on a day, so we were just like, let's just do it tomorrow, which would end up being May 30th, because people also had to work May 31st, which was that Sunday. And I was like, a day? We have a day to do this stuff? So there is a private Facebook group on Facebook, and it includes like all of the women that are from my town. I brought the idea up in the group, and it was met with so much good feedback. I got help from people in the group that had planned protests before me, and people were just being really encouraging and helpful. Like, yes, like it's the young people doing it, like basically, I don't know, they were just like really happy with it. But it was met with some backlash, and I was just like, what is the issue? What would be the problem of like talking about police brutality in our town? Like, I feel like our town is so small, and we don't necessarily have a bad relationship with our police. Like, our police department is small, our town is small, our town is quiet, so not a lot happens here. So people were just like, why are you bringing that here? They didn't want rioting. I don't know, but I was just like, it's not like first of all, this isn't about our police department. This isn't about our town. It's about us wanting to voice our hurt and voice our, just talk about what's going on in the world. There's nothing wrong with that. I ended up getting like 200 likes, like 200 comments of people saying that they wanted to comment, that they were interested, and I was like, ooh, we were gonna do it in a bigger town, but I was just like, let's just do it local. Like, there's mad local women that are gonna go bring their kids, all that. It was initially going to be a march, like a 15-minute walk, march to our town hall, and then basically have speakers, whatever. I called the police department and I notified them of what was going on. I didn't want there to be any surprises and people calling the police being like, there's a mob and blah blah blah. So I just let them know, and they were like, well, it's your right to protest. And yeah, and they made it clear that they don't stand by anything that Derek Chauvin did, and that they support us in anything that we do. I made sure I did that first. Later that day, I get a call, and the chief of police was, or I believe the captain of the police was saying like, is there any way you guys can just have a protest and not a march? Which basically his reasoning was just because he didn't want people to get hit. He didn't even want the police force to be out there, which, you know, was nice because it's just like we have their support. They don't want there to be any issues between the protesters and them, which you really can't say the same about other towns out there that literally have police brutalizing protesters and abusing them. So it was kind of nice of them to say like, we don't even want to be there. I wanted it to be as uncomplicated as possible, and it is a busy street that we would have been protest or marching on. So I was like, let's just make it a protest, have our speakers there, and we can hold our signs up to the passing cars and still have our voices be heard, and it could still be just as successful. So me and the girls were like, this is annoying, but we'll do it, whatever. And they were like, fine, we'll have some police there, put up police tape so you guys can just have the spaces to yourselves. And I was like, all right, cool. We meet up, we making signs and stuff, it's all cool. I go home. After I make more signs with my family, I'm like, we need speakers. We need people to talk at the protest. So I'm like, if we organized it, like, we need to make it known. We need to say like why we wanted to protest it. We need to be vocal. And a lot of the girls, like some of the girls, there's only, I don't know why I'm saying a lot of the girls, there was only 5 of us, but a couple of them didn't want to say anything. Like, they're kind of nervous, which I understand. Like, I am not a good public speaker. I took the class in college and was not my favorite class, but I knew our voices needed to be heard too. We planned it, like, let's get our credit. I had no idea what to prepare. Like, my sister actually wrote the speech, and I will like post the speech. I really suggest you guys screenshot like when I post it and read it. It's beautiful, and it has statistics, it has facts, and it just has the truth in it. So she's an English teacher. She wrote this speech, and let me tell y'all, it was pretty long. She wrote it in less than an hour, so it was way better than anything I could have done. My mom actually cried when my sister read it to her. It's like a beautiful speech. The last thing I had to do that day was to read it over, and just to get it down and get it like comfortable reading it, because when I tell y'all, my anxiety will have me shaking, which I was like shaking while I was reading it in front of everybody that day. But so I wake up the next day, and it's the day of the protest, May 31st. Oh my gosh, I'm losing track of days. If I am wrong, I will correct myself somewhere on the screen with the dates. But it's the day of the protest. It was a little bit stressful. Like, it's not that hard to do something like this, but you just got to make sure you have equipment. You have to make sure you have your town support, people, like reliable people to help you. One of the councilwomen in my town helped me a lot, and I thank her a lot because she was actually the one that lent us a working speaker and mic. And also she spoke at the protest as well. Also a lawyer and from my town spoke as well, and he did a beautiful speech too. So we get to the protest, we say our speeches and stuff, and it is packed. So we had gloves, hand sanitizer, masks, extra signs for everyone. And also the day before, the Home Depot in my town donated 10 cases of water and extra masks, which was bomb.com. It just went really well, and I was glad I was able to shut all the critics up who was worried about the coronavirus, who was worried about us inciting a riot, and who was worried about, you know, they didn't want this to happen. And it's sad because it's like, I'm just protesting, saying that what is being done in this country is not okay, and it's not okay to be silent anymore, no matter where you live. There's a lot of people who don't agree with that, and I'm just really happy I put myself out there and did it, because I'm honestly a very shy girl. Like, it took me a lot even to start this YouTube channel. It took me years. And just the fact that I was able to organize and execute this with a couple of my friends from high school is just mind-blowing to me, and it just makes me really proud of myself. And I opened a lot of doors, I gained a lot of new relationships from it. I can't be quiet, like I realized, because I was just like, I don't want to be a politician, I don't want to necessarily even be an activist. A lot comes with it, but I know now that I think it's something that I would like to do, and I believe that's why God kind of put this idea in my head. Because when I said thank you on the Facebook page, there was none of the same critics commented with any rude comments or negative comments. It was just all like, thank you guys for what you did, we needed this in our town, we don't say enough in our town. There was another protest the next town over the same day, and they did shut down the highway, and they were met with like a lot of backlash, and people were disgusted. A woman was even saying like, ooh, Lauren's protest was beautiful, it was so peaceful, this, that, and such. I'm ashamed to be from the other town. They were so violent, which they really weren't, but they were saying they were so violent, they shut down the highway, people were threatening to run people over, just like the same as everywhere else with what the racist people are saying about, you know, the rioters and the protesters. But I was basically said to the woman who said, like, who basically compared to the two protests, and I was just like, I'm just as angry as them. I just wanted me and my friends' protests to be organized. I wanted our protests to be positive. I didn't want it to be that. And there's nothing wrong with what they did, but I didn't want mine to be like that. Our protest was talked about in the state's like newspaper online that same day. What the picture they used was the picture from the other protest. This man, I'm looking through the comments on Facebook because it was posted on Facebook by another group for my town, and this man called us animals. And I know he was calling us animals because it was my town's name, but it had the picture of the other protesters on it, and he called us animals. And he was like, one man dies and everyone's acting like animals. I don't even remember what he said that much, but it was just grossly ignorant, and people were going off on him. And I commented, and then I deleted my comment because I'm not gonna argue with a 70-year-old man who has nothing better to do than to be a racist on Facebook. And I call him a racist because he's also called President Barack Obama a monkey, and has said the other protesters are like monkey see, monkey do. So I'm just like, there are people in my town like this. Oh my gosh, like, I've lived in my town since I was born, and I've never had to like encounter like a racist like that, like I had in those past few days. It made it known to me that there's so much more work that needs to be done in this country, and this movement, the Black Lives Matter movement, is not going to end anytime soon, and I hope people realize that. This wasn't just for George Floyd, it was for everyone who was killed unjustly at the hands of police, like, and just for racial injustices, period. Like, we protest because that man that called us animals and called us monkeys. So I just wanted to basically tell you guys this story. I wanted to make it known that like people my age, I'm 22 turning 23 this year, like we can step up and make a change. Like we can do this. I do not want my kids to grow up in a country when people don't love them because of their skin color. I don't want my kids, my grandkids to grow up seeing this. It's possible to make a change in your community, and I'm so happy because when I tell you guys, like, this stuff does not get talked about enough in my community. If you guys made it this far into the video, thank you so much for hearing what I had to say, and definitely subscribe for more content, and like this video if you do end up liking it, and I will see you guys when I see you.